Hey y'all, welcome to Interview with a Reader, where we're here to talk about some of the fun, really cool people in the horror community and the things that they do. And we're lucky enough to have Samantha here with us today.
Hi.
So, I am super excited, mainly because I kind of stalk you on Facebook and every post that you post of really cool stuff, but it's in the least weird way possible. So, start telling me about Spooky Frog. Like, I want to know how you even decided this is, hey, what I'm going to do.
Oh gosh. So that was all because of the Books of Horror Facebook group. Because I was just getting back into horror reading. I really hadn't had a whole lot of time to read for a few years. And so when I got back into things, I found a couple different pages online. Books of Horror was one of them. And I saw there was a meetup in Illinois. I'm like, oh, well, that's really cool. That's not super far from me because I'm in Milwaukee. So I kind of poked around. I wasn't able to go to that one. So I had messaged the organizer and she's like, well, I don't have bandwidth to do more of these. Like, but you seem like you do stuff. Why don't you just do it? I'm like, oh, I guess I could. And I just said yes without even like thinking about it, which is kind of how you have to roll when you're doing things is you just have to like say yes and figure it out later.
Yes. Just the sheer pressure of it. Like you've already said yes, it's too late.
Yeah, exactly. Like you just have to leap into it because if you think about it, you won't do it and you'll make excuses why you can't do it. So you just have to kind of say yes to the most ridiculous things possible and then you'll do them. So I said yes. And then I was like, well, now I'm on the hook to actually do this. So I contacted some friends of ours from, I'm in a group called Goth Barge. I am not a DJ, but Goth Barge is a DJ collective. We do boat events around the country for goth dance parties, and then we do a lot in Milwaukee too. We are good friends with the ownership group of a great little venue in Milwaukee called X-Ray Arcade. It's owned by like 10 different people. So it's kind of got that co-op vibe to it. And they're huge on bringing, not only national talent, but really indie talent. They do all sorts of cool events there. They're a very inclusive space. And so I contacted them and said, hey, would you ever do like a daytime event? And would you do a daytime event for books? And they're like, yeah, why not? So they actually donated the space to me, which was just amazing. And they really believed in me. And they said, hey, even if this doesn't go that well, you can try it again. Like, it's okay. But it went really, really well. Like, there was so much need for this in our community and I had just like no idea. So I put the word out there. Some people just started messaging me. The response from the authors was amazing. There was such a good group of authors and it's not a huge venue, but we got about like 15 authors in there. The response was just overwhelming, especially for like just a daytime event. I think I did it on a Sunday. I'll have to look. I have some of my posters on my wall. So it's like having to look at when I actually did something. So I can show you too. Like I've got some of my
different posters. Now that is cool.
Yes. So, but no, the response is overwhelming. And the second that it was like, I was like halfway through the event and everyone was like, when are you going to do this again? I'm like, I guess I'll just have to do it again. And so I did again. And then I did it again with a bigger venue. And now I've got an even bigger venue and I'm doing it again in October. So spooky season, it's at a hotel. So kind of leaned into the overlook hotel carpet vibe for my newest poster. And that one, there's going to be between authors and vendors, there's over 45 authors, vendors, artists, crafters. I've got a typewriter poet who's going to be doing on-demand typewriter like Gothic poetry.
That is so cool.
Yeah, there's some really cool people there. So that's really kind of like the story of how it got started. It's been really fun. It's become a sister project of Goth Barge. So we always have music as an element too. So we've got some great backtracks and good ambiance with some cool like dark wave and goth music.
Hey, you need that advance because sometimes music or not music will literally sync the whole thing because you gotta have the background.
Yeah, like either it's dead silent and it's real lame, or you've got like overly loud music that's just like not real fun for
Yeah, not
anybody. And
conductive for anything that's going on.
yeah, yeah. I mean, the authors want to be able to talk to people, so you have to have it at a low enough volume, but also kind of keep that party vibe going so that everyone's feeling good and wants to keep shopping.
So cool. I just love it. I'm just sitting here and I'm like, okay, how can I go to every single one of these?
They're so much fun.
Starting with moving. But no,
Yeah.
I love it. Like, I'm serious. Every time, I don't know how I hadn't saw you before I finally did, because you're
Yeah.
always posting and it's the coolest stuff ever. I'm so into it.
Yeah, there's some cool stuff going on in Milwaukee and then nationally too. Goth Barge is going to go to New Orleans this year, so we have a boat in New Orleans for Halloween. That's going to be really, really fun. And eventually, as we travel, I'd like to do some of the Spooky Frog events paired up with the Goth Barge boat parties in different cities. So it would kind of be like a traveling market, similar to like Oddities, but more author focused, and then with a cool dance party on a boat afterwards. So that's like the ultimate goal. Obviously, like we got to scale here first, but yeah, we're doing the New Orleans boat on October something, 25th, October 25th. So if anyone has vacation plans for Halloween and they want to be on a cool goth dance party boat, I found us one of those big paddle wheel boats in New Orleans.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Yeah, so it's a sunset paddle wheel boat cruise. We can fit 250 people on this boat, and we're just gonna like do some cruising in New Orleans. We also have a Cleveland boat this year. We've already done one. We've got a second one. That one's going to be in October as well. And then lots of cool stuff. Like tonight, I'm actually going to. We're doing a VHS Nightmares dance party at a woman-owned horror-themed bar that's not too far from the Illinois border. So if you're kind of in that, Chicagoland, North Chicago area, Kenosha has a really cool bar called The Final Girl. And like it's just murals all over the inside of it of everything horror. Like it is a horror lover's dream come true or nightmare come true. Would it be?
Something like that. I'm
Something
upset.
like that. It's
This
so
is so
awesome. Yeah.
crazy.
So, but yeah, there's lots of things to do. Milwaukee has a great horror and spooky and goth scene, and it's really neat to just see that flourishing.
That's what my next question was going to be. Besides Spooky Frog, what all are like the cool local horror stuff? Because it seems like you guys just do cool stuff. So what else are you doing? Or what else is happening, I guess? Because
Yeah,
I
I mean,
know that your events probably have to be attracting some people like, oh, yes, now this is
yeah.
an for this.
Yeah, yeah, and there's just been such a need for it. And Spooky Frog filled this niche that I guess I didn't know we needed. So we've got obviously Goth Barge is sort of the main event in the Milwaukee area. There's a residency at Milwaukee's oldest dance nightclub called the Mad Planet. So we've got twice a month that we do DJ nights there. But Mad Planet, if you have never been, if you ever go to Milwaukee, you need to go to Mad Planet. It's been running for over 35 years. Every Friday is Friday night retro dance party. I have been going to Mad Planet. I'm not going to say how many years because that will date me. But since I was a teenager and they had teen nights. So that's where like I first heard my first goth music, as far as like going out dancing. Probably like the first place I heard Depeche Mode or something was at Mad Planet on the dance floor.
Oh,
So we've kind of always had a really vibrant, kind of spooky scene here. Milwaukee's just sort of a spooky city. But there's other stuff too. So there's always some cool stuff going on. We've got a great independent, like alternative clothing and music store called Omen. Omen does. So if you see all of like, your Killstar and your Foxblood and all that kind of stuff, imagine all that stuff instead of off like online, have a whole store of it and then have like the coolest set of owners ever who also have a record store in it.
oh my gosh. I love stores like that. Here, a
Yeah,
couple of years ago, I was in Milwaukee for work. I was
yeah,
near Kenosha. And one day afterwards, I just kind of like drove to see what there was. And I ended up in this one small area, and it was just like store after store. But instead of like chain stores, it was just like little vintage stores, little
Yeah.
postcard stores, little bookstores. And I'm like,
Mhm.
this is the craziest thing I've ever seen. I love it. And it was during the day, so I can't even imagine what happened at night. So,
Oh, yeah.
so cool.
Well, and Kenosha, that area has some good stuff too. So not only do they have the Final Girl bar now, which opened last year, they have Donovan Scherer's Studio Moonfall, great independent bookstore. Donovan is an awesome person. He's going to actually be at the next Spooky Frog. He has a lot of good local indie horror authors. So like Jesse Rose is one of the authors that's very well represented there. Ari Bunch, couple others as well that of course I'm not thinking of off the top of my head. So that's a great little spot there. They also have the Port of Fear Horror Film Festival and Market down in Kenosha every year. So if you want to blend that with some film, they've got showings of things, just really cool outdoor market that they do too, which is just a great way to kind of like end your summer. It's usually towards the end of summer there, kind of wind down. They've got some food trucks. You can go and explore a really cool old convent, which is just kind of fun and spooky. So
yes. I'm literally like, sign me up for all the weird stuff.
Yeah.
Like, it's just crazy. That's just crazy. I would be like, yes, I'm going to spend mine. I would never be at home and be tired all the time, I think.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. There's always, it's amazing. So they call Milwaukee the city of festivals because literally, especially in summer, like we go hard. There is usually at least 2 or 3 different festivals going on at any given weekend. There's overlapping things to do all the time. Like this weekend, I think we've got Bastille Days. So if you like French food, we've got a whole, like a replica Eiffel Tower, French food, awesome music. Friend of mine's band played last night that does some cool new wave covers. They do the Cars a lot, which is just like, oh.
Cool.
It's just such a vibrant city. And really the hard part is deciding like what you want to do and when. And winter doesn't scare us because we're used to awful winters. So it's like, okay, we had goth prom this year during a blizzard and we still filled that dance floor.
It's so funny. But I mean, if the event is good, the event is good. It does not matter the weather. And that's crazy. I love that.
Yeah. You'd have a great time. Like you would be exhausted all the time.
I would be, but it would be a good exhausted.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. So, next question. Heard a lot about Spooky Frog and all that stuff. What is something, I know what made you start Spooky Frog, but what makes you want to keep doing this for the community? What about the community, I guess, basically is like, you know what, this is something that's worth just keeping on.
Yeah, no, and that's a good question because events are hard. They're a lot of work. They're a lot of money. And I don't think people realize that, nobody's getting rich off these things. If I don't lose money on it, that would be a miracle because it's just expensive to do these things and it's exhausting. The last one, I could barely walk at the end of it. I was so sore. And it's just because the community is so great and just seeing the way it keeps growing and how many people are bringing their kids who are getting into horror. How many people are meeting authors that they never knew existed before because they just didn't have access to them before. They had no idea that there was so much in indie horror. They didn't know that they've got authors that live next door to them that might work, with them. And it's just amazing to see, plus having the authors just have so much fun. I keep getting such good feedback from the authors and, you're never going to please everybody. It's just kind of how working with the public is. But the feedback I get that is positive has been so overwhelming. I think if I quit, I would have to have like some major existential crisis or something, like convert to some like cult religion or something. And then I'd have my own horror story. Because the community is just so good. It's such a variety of people. We've got a lot of women. We've got a lot of minorities that come through. We've got a lot of families that come through. And I think it's because horror has a place for everyone. And there is so much to the genre and to all the subgenres. And it's like, I think of it like a nice big blanket, and it can just kind of envelop us all. There's something in horror for literally everyone. So whether you
Everything
want,
is scary to somebody, and that
yeah,
makes it easier because you're like, well, this book wasn't too scary, but somebody else thought that book was terrifying.
right. Yeah, it's that subjective quality, but also there's so much within it. You've got your cozy horror, you've got your, gothic horror, you've got splatterpunk, your sci-fi horror. There's something in it for everyone, and I think that is catching on. And the more horror is going mainstream, the more people are realizing, like, oh, I can like go and meet other people. I can actually go meet an author. I can actually talk to somebody who scared the pants off of me.
Like, I'm so used to when even at library search filters,
Mhm.
it's so rare to find an actual filter that says horror. It's usually
Yeah.
tucked into, and then you might not even get to it. You just have to go through literature or fiction, and I hate
Right.
that. But like, I've started noticing here lately, horror's there. It's an option. And then the
Yeah.
other thing that makes me squeal, because I know some people are like, it's so stupid. But when I saw that horror books were starting to get like edges and foiled, I was like, yes, this is it. This is it.
Yes. Those special, they're gorgeous. Didn't you
They
post
are.
one just the other day too?
What?
Didn't you post one of the ones with the edges just the other
Yes,
day?
I probably did. I'd have a bazillion of them. But like, to me, that's when I know something has caught on and it's
Yeah.
getting popular. And I'm like, that's a good sign, y'all.
Yes. Yeah, it's been amazing to also see the transition in film too, because there's been so many films that have come out recently, like within the last few years even, that are based off of what were originally indie horror novels. So
Yes.
even this year, we've got Clown in a Cornfield, which was in the Brawl last year, and that's on. I have it queued up. I was going to try and see if I had time to watch it this weekend, and I don't know if I'm going to make it.
I know. I need to watch it too because I still remember the first time I read that book, and there's just so many moments in it that I'm like, and then I'm like, oh, is this supposed to be young adult?
Right?
Because like,
Right?
not that it's crazy or too gory. It's just like I forgot this was for kids because I'm gripped into this book.
Yeah, and that's what's cool too in the genre is we're getting more good YA horror because I think we were missing that for a long time. There was that gap between when we had Goosebumps and you had like Fear Street and the Christopher Pike novels, all of that. We all grew up with that, or at least I did.
Yeah, I did too. And then I'm like, what are kids reading today besides the same ones we were reading? Because like, where do you go from there?
Yeah, and now we've got people like John Ward who is doing that Scareville series. We've got some others that are doing some YA stuff, John with the Clown in the Cornfield. So YA horror is making a comeback. And I think especially in the environment that we have right now politically, having some YA options to deal with feelings through horror is actually really helpful and a really good sign because I think it does help us process those tough emotions. And maybe that's why a lot of us are fairly well adjusted because we read a lot of R.L.
It's
Stein.
easier to read a book that you've become emotionally invested in the book, but it's not you, but you're still kind of experiencing it along with them. And when they get to that point of scare, like you kind of get it, and it's just enough to get you ready for it, just in case it happens. I don't know. It makes it easier to deal with, I think.
Yeah, and I think so too. It helps you process those emotions. It helps you explore some themes that either through literature or visually that you wouldn't really understand. Just like any art. Art is how we reflect the world around us. Art is how we deal with the world around us and translate that into a consumable quantity where we can digest that without having to experience every little bit of it.
I love that in horror, it is like the main point is that you're going to make a huge mistake at some point and it's going to be bad. This book is all about it. And then sometimes it gets fixed and sometimes it doesn't. So like, I kind of like that. It's, I don't know, kind of makes you think about it a little bit. And it also tells you that not every mistake is unfixable, even the bad ones. Like we've seen terrible books
Yes.
Figure it out. But no,
Yeah.
it's just nice. But
Be
it's
your
not
own
all
final
wrapped up
girl.
in a pretty package that might put off other people. Because I'm not going to go read a pastel book with ribbons on it, probably. But, you know, I'm going to pick a scary one up with a murder weapon on it.
Be your own final girl. That's
Yes, exactly. But yeah. But speaking of that, tell me some of your favorite books.
Oh gosh.
You can pick a couple because I hate trying to say pick your favorite book.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that. No, you can
Yes.
pick a couple.
Yeah. So I want a recent favorite. So a new favorite. I'll start with a new favorite. So I'm going to classify as not technically horror, but it could be adjacent because we're kind of dystopian in a way. So I recently read Walk Away by Cory Doctorow. This is a post-scarcity society in 2075. So not that far away, and a lot of the themes are very believable. It's a post-scarcity society where more and more people are choosing to walk away from their lives because they don't have to, if they stayed in society, they would still have to work minimum wages to barely scrape by, to be able to have a roof over their head, to have food, kind of like we have now. But since computers can do so much, they can produce shelters, they can produce food, they can produce clothing. So you can really have whatever you need. You don't need to have anything anymore, as long as you're willing to walk away from society. And as this becomes more popular, this becomes a big problem for the oligarchs or the ultra rich of the time. And so there's a big clash. There's also an undertone of that the people who walked away get to study a lot more science. They're a lot more progressive than the people within society because they're more motivated. They have more time to devote to these things. And they find a way to cure death through uploading consciousness. And so it becomes very like sci-fi in a lot of ways and somewhat dystopian. Another one that I think is going to be a new favorite, I just finished The Reformatory. Yeah, heavy.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I love a good like punch you in the guts kind of book. Like, please make me feel something real bad. The Reformatory hits all those marks for sure.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if you have triggers around, like racial violence, then don't read that one. But I encourage everyone to read
It
that.
was so good, and it made me so angry at the same time.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, I gotta read this in pieces. Because I'm just like, this is insane. But it was horrifying.
Oh yeah, absolutely horrifying. And the underlying ghost story isn't like the horrifying part. And that's what I loved about it.
Like, that is not even the scary part of this book.
Right. Like, somehow you wrapped a ghost story around another story that's the actual horror.
Yes.
So brilliant. But as far as like a favorite when I was young, Jurassic Park was probably my first favorite horror book that I ever really read. Like, I had read all the Christopher Pike books. Like, I'd take a stack from the library and win my free pizza like every summer. But once I read Jurassic Park, which I read it when it came out, which I probably shouldn't have been allowed to read it, but
I feel like every true like horror lover read a horror book way too young.
Yes.
That was it.
Yes. I'm like, why am I being allowed to read this? I was 10 years old.
Yes.
And I loved dinosaurs already. So then reading a horror book with dinosaurs was just like, this is it. This is what I like.
Yes. I'm like, I'm sorry I don't like whatever we're reading in the 8th grade today. No, I'm just kidding. Like, right? My first horror book was, if I'm not mistaken, it was The Dead Zone. And I was like, 7 or 8. Didn't understand everything, but I was like, this is so crazy. Is there more like this? And I'd already been watching horror movies, but to find out that there were books, I'm like, oh, okay. I don't have to sit down and watch this all at once. I can read it in pieces. It's just...
Yeah, it's more consumable that way. I was not really allowed to watch any like really scary movies. So I wasn't allowed to, like, seriously, like until I moved out at 18, I was not allowed to watch an R-rated movie. So I just have to sneak into it. Like there was I call my brother because it's easier just to explain the relationship that way. My best friend of the last 25 years. I remember him borrowing me the Nine Inch Nails VHS at the time. And I was like popping that in at like 2 a.m. downstairs in the basement with like my head like way up to the screen because I didn't have the volume all low because I wasn't allowed to watch anything like that, of course. Because that was intense. But I was allowed to read anything I wanted, which I'm like, this is incongruent. So like books were just like the level at which I was reading horror was so far in advance of like what I was able to watch in horror, and I was just hooked. So
yes. Like I snuck and watched Maximum Overdrive very, very young, and it scarred me just a little bit.
Yeah.
But I could read whatever I wanted because books were everywhere. Nobody was like, well, you're reading that book. It must be something awful. Oh, no, she's reading that book. Leave her alone.
Right. Yeah, they were just happy we were reading books.
Yes. And then, the Pizza Hut pizzas really helped, the incentive there. I'm very food motivated.
Yeah, I want the Book It program to come back. I want my little personal pan pizza, and I want it in the original Pizza Hut with the salad bar and the red cups and everything.
I'm willing to take those AR tests to prove I read it.
Yeah.
No,
sometimes they'd question you when you were like a really avid reader. They'd be like, "Did you actually read these?" I'm like, "Do you want me to tell you about each and every one of them?"
All
because I will.
the time. Thankfully, by the time the grades got old enough, we were doing like the class read-alongs with the actual books. They finally realized, hey, she's done with this in 2 days. Maybe she actually is reading it. And I'm like, can I get my pizza, please? Thank you. Oh my goodness.
Oh.
Let's see. Okay. Do you watch any horror movies nowadays? Any favorites there?
Oh yeah. So I watched Sinners this year, which was just blew my
I haven't
mind.
watched it yet. I'm so behind on horror movies.
Oh God. Okay.
Everything I've heard.
I can't tell you my hot take then.
You can, because I don't care about spoilers. That doesn't matter to me. I'll read it. I'll watch it.
Okay.
Matter.
So spoiler alert for anybody who ends up listening to this. My hot take is that Sinners is a musical.
I mean, from everything I've seen so far, it is very theatrical. Let me just say, you know what I'm saying? Like, just set some to that and a little bit of singing, and we will have a Broadway play.
Yeah, and I mean, the way that they utilize music in this film is spectacular. Buddy Guy makes a cameo, which is just like amazing to me. The visuals in this,
the costumes,
color.
There's just something about the costumes.
Oh yeah.
This, I don't know. I just feel like they're going to start into a dance number or a sing number, like professional.
Well, they do. At some point, they do.
Yes, but you know what I mean. The whole thing.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's just so.
The color palette is beautiful too. They also use some different film techniques very, very well. Where it kind of is one of those movies where you have to watch it a couple times to really grab everything, which I really like. So there's a point at which it changes from widescreen to full screen. And you're like, is this the Wizard of Oz changing from black and white to color of this movie? So it's like a really interesting kind of way that happens. And it's a stunning movie. So that I'm really happy about. Last night I just watched High Tension, which I didn't like the twist at the end. That one's kind of considered a more modern classic, I guess. It's a French horror movie. And if you haven't seen it, if you like slashers, just stop the movie like an hour in because then you'll have a good slasher movie. If you want to continue because you want the worst twist ever, then keep watching it.
I hate that.
And it was also ruined by the fact that it came out in 2003. So it had like a Muse song in it, like an emo song. And I'm just like, this is just like distracting me. So, but I'm trying to think. Last year I did like a top 10 ranking. The Substance came in very high on that one. Just because I really, really loved it. I loved how it went from like Kubrick to Cronenberg. Like, and just had a complete breakdown into absolute chaos. Loved that about it. But I also liked like Nosferatu last year. I thought visually it was a really stunning movie.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. The one line though that almost made me giggle and almost like took me out of the movie was that when Orlok just goes, "Now we're neighbors." And
I'm just like, I
like,
don't know. I don't know about
really?
that. It just seems too casual. I don't know. It just
Right,
seems
because he was so
weird.
menacing.
Like, I
And
don't
then
know
you just
what
like,
word I would have had them use, but not that.
right, right. Like it was just there was maybe he could have said it in a more menacing way, but it was just more of like a hey buddy. Like
Yeah, like, are we having beers at the barbecue or no?
right, yeah.
No, that absolutely get that one. That's hilarious, though.
Yeah. I will say though, I do have one comfort horror movie, which is Cabin in the Woods, which is a movie that I put on when I'm on airplanes because I'm deathly afraid of flying. It is the only thing that like distracts me. And
I
it
love
hits all the notes.
everything about that movie. I don't know what it is.
It's just perfect.
It is. It's funny. It's stupid. It's
Right.
kind of scary. It's tense. It's gross.
Yeah. Yeah. Like it hits all the notes. And I think what's great is it does that push and pull where it gets you like right up to being like really intense.
There's
And then
so
it
many
backs
times
you up.
I actually gasp, and I don't do that
Yes.
very often. And I'm like, oh,
It's so much fun. Yeah.
the travel mug at the very first of the movie, though.
Oh my gosh.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
I cackle every single time. I'm like, yes, can we be friends? He was so just casual about it.
I know. Oh, I'm glad that there's other people that like they appreciate that movie a lot too, because I feel like it was not well received right away.
I do too. And I honestly read the novelization book or whatever, and I
Yeah.
loved it too. I'm like, there's nothing I don't like about this. Like, I
It's
can
just
see
fun.
it happening and being real, quite honestly. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But no, it was such a good one, and it was just a good time. I didn't hate it. I didn't waste my time, and I've watched it a million times since then.
Yeah. I kind of want like a crossover between that and Midnight Meat Train.
Oh, that would be absolute insanity.
Like a little crossover there. Like I think the universes could bleed in a little bit.
I always like hoped in my heart of hearts that it would have like actually caught on. And I don't love it when they do a million sequels and everything, but I really hope that they would have at least one more where they would have spun it to where a bunch of the movies we've watched over the years was also in it, but it was a different setup where it had actually they had made it and not everybody died, but the group. And I'm like, why did we keep doing that? Come on now.
That would be cool. All right. If somebody does that now, we know who they got the idea from. So this is on a recording.
Yes.
This is
I
Alexis's
want at least
idea.
credit. Movie tickets, I don't know, or at least make it happen. That's fine.
Oh man, such a good movie.
Horror TV shows. I know that's weird because, like, I remember when horror TV shows just there were none, and now we have a ton. Not all of them are amazing, but there are a ton of them.
Oh yeah.
So
Well, it's like
any of them?
oh yeah. From has been like one of my top. I love that. Now here's the thing though.
Times.
Oh, I know. And I'm so excited for another season to come out, but I'm so worried that it's gonna do the exact same thing that Lost did, which is just like keep going and like never figure anything out because it's the same showrunners and you can tell it's like horror version of Lost. And I love Lost. I'm still emotionally damaged from the ending of that show. Like I am not over that ending at all. I'm so angry and so upset still to this day. It's a 25-year-old show or something.
I have trust issues with shows.
Yes.
That specifically.
Yes. Like, please don't do this to me. But no, From has been a really, really awesome show. So I didn't have TV for like almost a decade, and I still don't have any TV services. I've just got some streaming movie services now. So I like don't ever get to see most of these shows unless I'm specifically like go after them and watch them. So I miss out on all the good stuff.
You are. If you like From and you run across it eventually, you should check out The Blind Spot or no, The Black Spot.
The Black
Black Spot. It's a German horror, and it's dubbed. But I swear, oh my God, it just was the most amazing thing. It's about this little black spot out in the middle of nowhere, and they don't really have service. Technology doesn't really work out there. It's just a little village, and they have the old-timey sawmills. That's what runs everything, and it's all run by the same guy that's been passed down from family to family from family. But the sheriff starts having weird stuff going on. A kid disappears. There's apparently lore that there's something out in the woods, and she was kidnapped by it when she was younger. I don't know. It's just the most insane thing ever. And I'm like, nobody ever talks about it. And I'm like, I don't know why.
That reminds me. Yeah, there's actually a German show called Dark too. Yes. That one, we started watching that one, and then we just stopped because life got hectic.
You have to put so much effort into Dark, though. Like, I can't even explain how many times I have watched that first season.
Yeah, I didn't even make it through the first season. Like, I was just like, I don't have, because I
have the brain width for it. If you don't have the brain width, you ain't watching it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Oh, goodness. Let's see. What else? Do you want to talk about any upcoming projects either you have or that you can talk to about that some of your friends have going on? Anything like that?
Yeah. So I am narrating an audiobook. Are
you doing everything?
Yeah, it feels like it actually. So a good chunk of yesterday was devoted to this. So I am narrating a book by Jason Davis called Bookmail.
I love that book.
And the main character is Lexi. So
yeah, I was like, he sent it to me, and I was like, is there something that I need to kind of know about this? The main character is Lexi. This is Bookmail. I am concerned.
Right?
About the review. But no.
It did come from an almost real situation. So when I was talking to him about it, it was on a live with him and Angel Ramon a few months ago, and we were talking about kind of like the origin story. So Jason Davis did have somebody purchase a book from him that was like in kind of a nearby area that he was going to be passing through. And that is the main plot line to the first part of Bookmail, which is this kind of like a bookstagrammer, Lexi. She's such a fun character to play. She's great. Her voice is fun to do too. And the cool thing about it is like you really think that she's like this ditzy like bookstagram chick at first, but not so much. But so Jason was thinking like, well, hey, maybe I would just like drop this off for somebody instead. And then he's like thought better of it. Like, that's weird. I can't do this. So it never happened, but the idea was in his head. What if? And then he just kept going with it.
People are crazy. So I totally get it. That is scary though.
Yeah. And so it's a really fun book to do the narration for. There's some really good character development in there. It's a fun book to narrate. I get to say some awful things. Which if you've read the book, you know. If you don't and you want to wait for the audiobook, that's great. I'm still recording it. So, that takes some time, especially the editing portion of it too. This weekend was fun to record because we've had the Blue Angels here for the Air and Water Show. I live not that far from our major airport here. So it has been very loud because there have been fighter jets going over my condo.
Yeah, but that is not good for audiobooks when literally all it is your voice.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So I've got my recording booth is my hall coat closet because it's insulated. But because, we have weather here, I have to literally turn the furnace off. So I have to hit the breaker. And so I'm in this like hot little box, like between all the coats.
Is
like,
this its own hard book in its making already?
It is. And I'm just getting sweaty. And I'm just like marinating in there.
Oh my gosh. You're just doing this in sprints because you're like, I got to cool off for a minute.
Right. Yeah. I'm like, okay, I need to take a breather in between the chapters and then like come back. And then some of the voices, especially the men's voices, like really will get your throat all raggedy. So I'm like coming out of there sounding like Patty and Selma from The Simpsons. Like, hey.
Oh my
But
goodness.
I am so excited about this. I'll be more excited, I think, when I'm done. But Lexi is such a fun character to play.
I am very excited. I'm one of those people that if I listen to the audiobook and I really, really like it, I will definitely buy the digital or the paperback, whatever, or vice versa. And I really like book mail, and I'm very excited it's going to be audiobook because I will be getting it. It's just one of those books that I would read again, which means I will listen to it again.
Yeah.
And I just think it's going to be so good on audio.
Yeah, I'm very excited about it. It's a ton of fun. It's my first time doing narration at all. So like I literally have had a big learning curve, and Jason has just been so awesome in, just working with me. And he'll send me a note like, hey, I hear something on the recording, can you redo this or can you fix that? And then he'll be like, I'm so sorry, I'm not trying to nitpick. I'm like, dude, no, like you're not nitpicking.
He's so nice. Tell me what's wrong.
Right, like let me fix this so I don't sound stupid.
Yes.
And I don't know if you saw or heard, but there was recently an audiobook where it's got like 2 minutes of the narrator just like yelling at her dog or something. Like that somehow didn't get cut out of the audiobook.
No point. Oh my goodness.
Well, so what I learned is that unless you really like make it big as a narrator, you're doing a lot of your own editing.
Yeah,
and so yeah, and I guess there's some authors that just don't listen to, there's a platform where you upload all of your recordings to chapter by chapter. I literally knew nothing about this like 2 months ago. So, and once you have all the chapters loaded, that platform will just produce the audiobook for you basically.
Oh, so that is definitely a chance to completely mess that up.
Right, so if you don't listen to it, and don't check off that everything's okay. Like if somebody uploads the wrong file where, they uploaded the wrong.
You just had something named similar.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So that happens. So I'm like, Jason, please, like, if you hear something, tell me. I don't want to be that person.
No.
But I'm really excited. I just can't say enough how much I like Lexi, the character. Like she's fun. And she is just such a fun character to do the narration of. So it's like flipping into her character. She's like super excited. And hey, Flix fam, it's Lexi Sexy Reads here. Back again.
Yes, you get to be her for a little bit.
Yes. And I just picture myself as like, I've got the latest Skulls novel and just like going into it.
When I read books, I'm one of those people that I do not see anything, no pictures, nothing. But I love to read, which makes no sense because you're like, what are you looking at? And I'm like, words? I don't know. Yeah. It makes sense in my head. But like when I'm reading books, I give them voices. And I'm like, it makes it so much more fun.
Yeah.
To be that person. So I imagine you've already read the book and now you're doing the narration.
Yes. And it's hard to pick out. I found it's actually harder to do different women's voices than it is to do different male voices because I hear more of a distinction, I think, in men's voices. So when I'm doing some of the different men, that one somehow is easier for me to like pick a distinct voice for a character and go with. Whereas the women, it's a little bit harder. So like Amanda, who's Lexi's best friend in the book, hers she's kind of got a softer voice than Lexi does. It doesn't have the tilt. It's a little bit smoother. Lexi's mom is that Gen X. It's kind of hard. Kind of goes like she's kind of a little bit nasty about it.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's like she's very sarcastic, so it kind of drops and gets a little bit gravelly, but not quite. But she's still from Illinois, so not quite Chicago, but And then I have a crisis every time I have to say the word bag, because apparently us in Wisconsin say bag strangely. Yeah. So according to my friend Stephanie, who, if you listen to this, I'm still trying to pronounce bag correctly.
I work in customer service where I have to talk on the phone a lot, and there's certain words I have to slow down when I'm saying because I know they're going to sound weird. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I have an accent. Because it's people that I can tell aren't from my area, and I'm like, yep, they are going to be like, what did you just say?
I love your accent, though. It's one of those where I want to almost like slip into it because it sounds so fun.
It's contagious.
It is. Like, I want to use it for a character now.
Just feel free. But no, it's fun. I just love that. It sounds so fun narrating a book. I just love that.
Yeah, it's very difficult. The one tip I got that I really had to internalize, not only from Jason's feedback, but I got a tip from Scott Burtness, who is a Wisconsin author up in Door County. He wrote a couple books, well, a whole series. He's got like Wisconsin Vamp, Undead Cheesehead, like really fun stuff. But when I talked to him about it, he said, slow down to the point you think you're going too slow.
Yes.
Because it's going to sound like you're rushing if you don't. And a lot of people listen to their books on 1.5 speed. And I'm like, okay. And so, my normal speaking tone is a little quick.
Yeah.
So that's something I had to really, really, really work on. And now it's like all I think about.
Gosh, yeah. When I'm talking to clients, I'm like, I got to slow down because I'm real bad if I get excited about something.
Yeah.
Or if I start talking faster, it just ramps up till I'm like, okay, we got to slow back down. And I'm one of those people that I just listen to my audiobooks. And if I listen to it any faster, I would not hear nothing. I read faster than I listen to begin with. And then somebody's like, I listened to mine on 2. And I'm like, 2 what?
No. I was in the car with my boyfriend last weekend, and he was trying to play something on Spotify, like an interview or something we were listening to. And I'm like, why is it it feels like they're going like this and talking really fast, like the end of a drug commercial. And he's like, oh, I listened to it on 1.5. I'm like, what kind of monster are you? Like,
I just don't understand. It makes it hard for me to breathe when I'm listening to something like that. And I'm like, does anybody else have panic attacks or is it just me?
Yes, it's stressful. Like I feel like I'm trying to catch on and I can't quite grab it.
Yeah.
And it's just, no, I'm like, no. So my boss also listens to things at 1.5 speed, and I just cannot do that. But I'm grateful to Scott for that advice. He's actually coming down to the event at the Final Girl Bar tonight, all the way from Door County, which is a ways away. So if Wisconsin is like a baseball glove, Door County would be like up here, and Milwaukee's going to be like down here somewhere in Kenosha, even down here. And this is like Illinois down here. So it's the Midwest. Everything is either by some hand shape or it's by how long it takes you to get there. There's no miles or any unit of measurement involved here.
That makes sense. That makes sense. I come from a small town where it's all landmarks. Like I couldn't tell you how to get anywhere, but I can tell you if you turn right by the community center where you're going to end up.
Everything here is based off the lake in Milwaukee.
Oh.
So if because the lake is just such a huge part of our life. The Summerfest grounds are right along the lake shore. A lot of our park system is along the lake shore. And so literally everything is based off of where is the lake. Like I would have no idea what east was if I didn't know where the lake was. And if I can't.
No, that's so accurate though. It really is. I'm like, that is so accurate for me.
Oh
my goodness. Okay, let's see. I usually ask this to authors, but I want to ask it to you anyway because it still applies.
No, I'm scared.
What wisdom would you pass down to other people that eventually want to be something like an event coordinator or like helping out in the community? Because I'm sure you just didn't bust out making your own events immediately at the very first of it. You probably integrated yourself, did some things, What do they need to be prepared for, I guess? Yeah,
so networking is probably one of the biggest tips I can give anybody. I wouldn't be able to do some of the things I've been able to do if I didn't have the connections that I have. And that is mainly through Goth Barge, where, we've built out so many connections. We've really built a community. Goth Barge has been putting goths on boats for, I think, 8 years now.
I love that. Is that their slogan?
Yeah, we put goths on boats. And because we've created such a community, it allowed me to have that freedom to be able to do things like talk to the guys at X-Ray Arcade and get, my first event there. Networking is such a huge thing, but you have to be genuine about it, and be very humble as well. The only other advice I could give is, other than to be organized and have an accountant that you have access to, which means my daughter. She's an artist and she's also an accountant. So I'm just like,
what
hey.
a duo of personality.
Oh, she's brilliant. Yeah.
I'm in awe right now.
She does the coolest, like, cutesy art, and I absolutely love it. And she's got this spooky side to her too, which is great. But other than networking, just opening yourself up to saying yes. Say yes to the most ridiculous thing you have ever heard of, and just say yes before you can think about it. So if somebody asks you something weird, or you see something, like when I saw Jason Davis put out just a public call for narrator auditions, I just said I was going to do it right away so that I couldn't say no. And then this is sort of what happened, which we don't know if that's going to be good or bad yet. But,
but like, you did it.
Right. Yeah. When it came to getting the New Orleans boat in this year, it was I just called, and they thought I was some kind of promoter. And so that's kind of how I greased that wheel. And I did not alleviate them of that assumption. So,
I mean, you were promoting something.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I was promoting something. And then just, also the last one I would say would be, just give yourself your time to recuperate. There's this drive to kind of go, and to curate every portion of our life, to have an online presence. And I feel like I probably don't even do enough for an online presence, but I really have this great need to be by myself and have my downtime and not be beholden to anybody, to not constantly interact with the rest of the world. And I like to kind of keep my peace and hang out with my pet frogs and just like do my own thing. So there's a lot of pressure. So take that time for yourself and make sure you can recuperate too.
That was such good advice too. And honestly, it applies to so many things. Yeah. I am so introverted. I would cross the road to keep from talking to someone. I would, and I do this crap all the time. Makes no sense. But somebody tagged me in something Gage had posted about this, and I was like, okay, I just messaged them immediately before I could even say anything. I was like, okay, 1, 2, 3, message Gage. And after I messaged him, I was like, I can't say no now. I mean, I could have, but not from my own standards. I couldn't. It was too late.
Right? Yeah, you just have to kind of just go for it and not think about it too much. Especially, I think you and I are similar in that we have extroverted jobs. I'm a recruiter, so my job is to talk to people and, like, just be very on all the time. You work with customers. So it's like, and then all our side projects are also very public. And so we need that downtime. We got to be really protective of it. And we have to push ourselves by just signing our name on the dotted line and like closing our eyes.
Yes. It's like such a weird mixture. I told my boyfriend, I'm like, why am I cursed with being good at something that absolutely is the exact opposite of like,
oh my God.
Me?
Yes. It's totally the same here too. I'm like, how did this happen?
Yes, no, absolutely. But it's wonderful. Like, I recommend anybody, like, it's scary, but if you do it a couple of times and you hate it, you never have to do it again.
Right. Yeah. Nobody's going to
like, find out something that you absolutely love to do. And there's parts of this that have brought me so much joy, just so much. Because I don't make friends as easy as other people, but I've made friends networking.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I wouldn't have started Spooky Frog if not for getting on Books of Horror, talking to Tiffany, who really gave me the, like, hey, you can do this. Like, you not only should do it, but you can do it. Like, you are capable of doing this, and having that backup and knowing that people had my back that really believed in what I was doing, even though I didn't have any proof of concept yet at all. I was just like, I got a crazy idea. What do you think?
For me, at that point, it's the pressure of, it's one thing, because I will let myself down, but I will not let anybody else down. So you've got to figure this out. Like, if it's only a consequence to me, I'm skipping dinner or something. But like, I can't completely skip this entire fan and let it go to hell. So we got to figure this out. And it works. It helps. All these people that believe, so we got to do this. But no.
Yes.
Okay, I don't want to keep you too much longer because we're running down, and I know you got events after this. But before we go, shout outs. Anything that you want to be like, hey, I absolutely love this. And of course, I will get all these as links and everything to put in the description when we go live. But
oh God, there's so much. I don't want to miss anybody. So if I do, it's just because I get nervous.
And if she misses somebody else, she can send me the link and I'll also put that.
Obviously, huge shout out to Goth Bart. So I love us. JJ, who is X Dominion X, who's one of our DJs, and then Dance Commander, who is my brother, my platonic life mate, as I like to call him. Those guys are amazing. They do amazing things with music. We're doing a lot of cool things. We're taking the boats national. So if there's a city that you live in and you have a boat, tell me. I want to hear about it, because then I will come to your city and we'll throw on a dance party on this boat, and it'll be cool and it'll be spooky and it'll be fun. But other than that, I really want to shout out Books of Horror, just because that's how I really got into doing more of this stuff. As far as up here in Milwaukee, shout out to Mad Planet. Shout out to X-Ray Arcade. I love you guys so much. Shout out to Omen, who is our alternative clothing and music store. So if you want some cool clothing, it's not going to be any more expensive than you'd be buying online. Lots of times there's sales. They just have amazing things. You can sign up to get new albums when they drop too. They've got release parties, really cool. Bakehouse 23 for feeding me my soup every week. It makes no sense.
Yes.
Jason Davis
sometimes it's a little thing.
Oh yeah. If I didn't have my emotional support soup on a regular basis, I would be lost.
Support tortillas.
Oh yeah. We all have our support food. Shout out to Jason Davis for putting up with me and my huge steep learning curve, and just allowing me the grace to figure this out, and being very flexible in going forward, because it's not easy. And I want this to sound as good as it absolutely can be. And then I've just got every author that's been part of Spooky Frog. I can't spend a million years naming all of them, but each and every author that I've had at Spooky Frog, every vendor, every artist, every crafter has been amazing. They have just been so supportive. The amount of feedback that they give me, the amount of support they give me, the amount of work on their part of like, hey, I'll put up some flyers, or I'm going to promote as much as I can on my social media. I'm going to invite my friends. I'm going to put it in my newsletter. I'm going to put it in my blog. That has just been enormously helpful in getting us where we are. And then there's also a podcast called Slash You, who contacted me last time I had an event and was like, hey, do you want us to promote your event? And I'm like, this is cool. And they're just a fun couple of guys that like to talk about slasher movies. And it's just such a fun romp. I'm trying to think of like everyone that I'm missing. So I'm sure I'm missing somebody, and I'm so sorry. Oh, my friend DJ Cynthia. She's amazing. She does Living in Oblivion, which is a Twitch stream that she has a brunch every other Sunday. She does some live events too. She does the most amazingly curated retro and vintage, like alternative from the 70s, 80s, 90s. She finds all these old videos and restores them and puts it out on Living in Oblivion. She's amazing. She's also going to be DJing the next Spooky Frog. So that'll be a ton of fun. She's brilliant as, a DJ. Just love it.
This just sounds so cool. Everything just sounds so cool. Literally, if I were you, I think my heart would be exploding from excitement, like at 24/7. I don't think I could breathe. There's just too much.
Yeah, I feel like I'm just like very grateful that there's so many people that are around me in so many different ways that are like, I never thought that I could hang with the cool kids. I'm just this dork from Wisconsin.
And you're like, oh, this is so cool. But it really helps when everybody wants to be part of the community and make it work. Because without that, nothing works, honestly. No will.
And that's, and that's really what the horror makes it. It's a little bit different. Horror is its own community, and it really does push itself to be supportive and make each other better. I feel like the horror community polices its own in many ways too, which is really good to see. It's becoming a more inclusive space. It's becoming more diverse as well. And that's really amazing to see.
I absolutely love that, and definitely agree. It's just, it seems to be growing because it used to be the weird genre, I guess, in the corner
Yeah.
where if you were reading horror, you better have a book cover on that, or you know. And now it's like I'm sitting on the city bus just flipping through this one and
Yeah.
look at the cover on the front of it, and nobody's batting an eyelash. But no, it's getting better, and I love it. It's so exciting.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay,
that was a
anything else
lot,
you want to
right?
share or talk about, or anything that we missed?
Oh gosh, no, I don't think so.
I know. I was sitting here thinking, I was like, did we hit everything?
I
So
hope so.
I'm gonna wrap up, and thank you so much for doing this. I really loved having you
Oh
on.
my gosh. I was so excited. And I finally got to like meet you in person virtually.
Video to video? Or
Video to video, like which is just like, I was so thrilled about that aspect. Like we could have just not talked about anything and just had like a meet and greet. And I